Hello everybody, today on Reviewed as Food we're taking on two games in one package, just like Nintendo intended. And we're gonna be seeing why Super Mario 3D World is like Pancakes, while Bowser's Fury is more reminiscent of a cheese platter. 3D World is the type of game that you can put in front of any person and be confident that they will have a good time. A big reason for that is because the game is so welcoming to players of all skill levels. An often overlooked difficulty in 3D games is controlling the character and camera at the same time. While it feels completely natural if you have a lot of experience playing games, it can be a difficult obstacle to overcome for new players. Super Mario 3D World gets rid of that barrier by removing the need for it, and in the process of simplifying the controls, the game goes the extra step and doesn't require you to do any of the trickier jumps that carried over from other 3D Marios. So what we have is a straightforward base for gameplay with few ingredients composing the core of the experience that anyone can get behind. Not unlike Pancakes. Making pancake batter is very straightforward. The recipe that I used, which you can find in the description, is on the more complicated side of things, but even so, it's forgiving enough to allow me to eyeball things rather than using precise measurements. And the result of all of this mixing and frying is the fluffy pancake. By themselves, fresh pancakes can be very satisfying, but their greatest asset is how versatile they can be. By being so simple, you can combine them with so many different toppings, and depending on the topping, it can function as breakfast or dessert or whatever you're in the mood for really. Which is where 3D World really shines, as the levels can be seen as different toppings. Throughout the game, you're going to run into so many different level mechanics that you might end up forgetting about some by the time they show up again. The level of creativity here is off the charts. Not only do they add new stuff all the time, but the way they do it is extremely well done, as each mechanic can be very simple by itself, like how making a jam starts out with a single berry or fruit, and in this case pears, and then they layer that mechanic through different situations like adding enemies, bottomless pits, or whatever they might come up with. And in the same way, combining flavors can take something you know and make it more interesting. Or in the best cases, it can make it feel brandy new again. My jam's flavor combinations didn't bring forth that feeling of something new, but it was still very good. As for whether it's worth making, I'd probably say no due to the high quality of jams that you can generally find in a store, but if you want to try it out, there's a recipe in the description. As mechanics get used more, they start to become stale, but 3D World never gets to that point, because they start combining the different mechanics to mix things up. For instance, bananas on pancakes are good. Nutella on pancakes is also good, and when combined, it can lift both parts of the party to keep things from getting stagnant. This continued exploration of new elements is so much fun to get through, and I can't help to think that a big part of why Nintendo can do so many things in so many different ways is in large part due to the simplicity of 3D World's base. The combination between simple gameplay and creative level design is really what gives 3D World its unique flavor, and what makes me think of Pancakes, but it has so much more to offer as well. The levels are surprisingly short, and most of them could be run through very quickly, but because of the green stars and stamps, you end up spending more time in each level as you take on optional challenges, which can give a similar satisfaction to solving a puzzle, as well as doing a fair bit of exploring to find them all. And if you're lucky enough to play this game in multiplayer, then you already know it's one of the best in the business. The co-op aspect is more enjoyable for all parties involved than the asymmetrical multiplayer found in modern 3D Mario games, but where it becomes genius is in its competitive aspects. At the end of each level, the points are tallied and the person with the most points is awarded a crown. This crown has a similar effect to the One Ring, as it can make the best of girlfriends turn heel in order to present the crown to the false ruler Peach. The banter that you'll be getting from this game, combined with the fact that even the flowers are dancing with the music, guarantees a good time for anyone who's lucky enough to be involved. Switching things up to Bowser's Fury, you'll be instantly comfortable with the movement if you started with 3D World. And in the case you didn't, you'll probably get comfortable quick as it has a similar pancake complexity. It becomes pretty apparent that the game wasn't about reinventing the wheel in terms of player options, but rather an experiment in world building. It's most obvious with the way the levels are presented. Instead of a hub world where you can choose different levels, you are now placed in a world that has the levels directly incorporated in them. It's kind of similar to the levels of Odyssey, as multiple objectives are available at any time, but where it differs is that Bowser's Fury has more traditional 3D Mario levels in its open world. Not in scale, mind you, but rather in the way they are themed and how challenges are presented to the player. Those levels are the cheeses on the platter, and act as a theme for everything that you will experience there. For instance, some might have a base which focuses on springs propelling you upwards, while others have an ice track for you to skate down on. Just like how one cheese can be on the nuttier side of things, while another one pushes you to Salty Town. Once you've collected a sprite and walked away, the level updates while keeping the same base. This is usually done by adding platforms, enemies, or buttons that activate timed challenges. In my mind, these act like the crackers on the platter. While not changing the core component of the bite, they manage to change it up enough to keep things interesting. And on top of that, Bowser can activate and add pressure, but also platforms that change up the levels yet again, leading to the jam being added into the mix. And since everything is available to you at any time due to the world structure, you can walk around and pick whatever you're in the mood for. Just like how you're free to mix and match cracker, cheese and jam combinations on the platter to fit whatever you want to get at that moment. The one thing that I ended up missing was the great multiplayer from 3D World. It might be greedy of me to want more, but the asymmetrical multiplayer just doesn't do it for me, as one player will get the little brother treatment. It probably stands out since it's so closely connected to 3D World and its amazing co-op, but even so, the game was a lot of fun, as I wouldn't dare to compare it to Cheese otherwise. And due to the fact that it was paired with 3D World, it became a great package overall. Had I played 3D World before this version was released, I might have felt a bit underwhelmed, as Bowser's Fury would leave me wanting a lot more if it was the only new content that I got to play. But I think this way of doing re-releases of games is very solid, as Nintendo could have released 3D World by itself and not bother with Bowser's Fury. Instead, we get an added incentive to buy the game, and my gut feeling is that I'd probably be very happy to see more of these smaller games which do things differently from previous games in the series. Best case scenario, Nintendo finds gold and can build on it by making a larger game, and worst case scenario, the idea doesn't work out, but it's short enough to not be a huge disappointment, and I would be able to comfort myself with the other game in the package. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you thought about 3D World and Bowser's Fury, and whether you agree with the comparisons I made. Thank you. Have a great day.